Stuart, the man that you've signed has been here before. He's a kind of a troubled soul. What makes you think you can get him to maybe settle down and get the best out of him?
But I think troubled souls a little bit harsh, to be honest with you. I think Tony's a guy I didn't know particularly well, but several people here at the football club did. And the one thing that always comes out when you speak to anybody about Tony is that he's a heart of gold and he's a really good human being. We have all different types within football. Some are vocal, some are quiet lads, and it's safe to say that Tony's vocal. But I'll be honest with you, Peter, it's something that I want in my group. I want a bit of personality. I know he's done some stuff with our own media here, and I think what everybody can see is he's got bottle. And one of the things that I always allude to is, or the main thing I allude to, I'm looking for a good football player. I'm looking for somebody that I think can have an effect at this football club. And if I'm looking at evidence for that, then we've got it. You know, because his last spell here at the football club was very successful under Graham Alexander. With his goal scoring, with his confidence was high. He found a place that was a good home for him here. We understand the set of circumstances where he went off to Dundee United. We get that. We understand that. And then probably just a last bit on it, that for anyone that thinks it might be a knee-jerk reaction from my side, I think Tony possibly cleared that up yesterday as well, and that we've been working towards this for a few weeks. We've been trying to add him to our group because we think he brings a dimension that will help us at the top end of the park. So I'm looking forward to working with him. We've got 2 or 3, maybe 4 massive personalities in our dressing room, Tony being one of them, and there's a bit of a fight for supremacy when it comes to him and Stephen O'Donnell and Steve Seddon for that last word and to be the biggest voice. But again, we're forever saying that we want personality in our dressing room. We're forever saying we want bottle and character within our dressing room. I think we've got it with several players in our group.
Are you of the belief that he could be that missing link, that for some clubs it's the difference between trying to avoid playoffs and relegation and then maybe having ambitions of top 6? Yeah,
I think the margins are fine. I think that is a really, really good point. I think the margins are fine. I've been really fortunate in my 18 months or so here at the football club that we've always had goals, we've always had chances, and we've had decent conversion. So quite clearly from my side, we're looking to try and add to that. We're looking to try and improve on that side of it. We've tried to improve defensively. We've tried to evolve as a team throughout. And obviously sometimes these things take time. Really disappointed with Apostolos' injury on Saturday. We were again meticulous in thinking that he could start the game. He had 60-70 minutes in the week before playing against top level opposition in Everton. So we'd sort of tested him at that level several days before, nearly a week before, and he's had a lot of training sessions and he's been in a good place. So that one if we've thrown somebody in off the back of one training session and no match practice, then I would probably hold my hands up to it. But obviously by losing him and what we feel he can bring as well, then we're quite clearly a bit of quality down on that side as well.
Just one little footnote, what message would you give to the fans? Do you think Tony has to win them over?
I think Tony's spoke for himself. You know, I've had a conversation with him personally. I understand that supporters love their football club, and for them, rightfully so, that's the most important thing, and no other club. I'm using Dundee United as an example here because that's where Tony went. Their priority is always their football club. I think we all know, if we're being realistic here, in whatever job, I've said this before, for you to go and double, treble, quadruple your salary in any walk of life, as your phone's going, Peter, just now, somebody's offering you a wee bit more money for what you do.
No, it's the payment that you let jobs go to.
But for whatever role you go and do, sometimes money does talk. But I think Tony said it all himself. He said every single bit of it himself. Judge him on what he does on the pitch. He's back here now. We wanted him back. He was desperate to come back. There was other offers. There was other opportunities for him to go abroad and for other clubs in Scotland. This is where he felt he had a real good home previously and had success. So I think he said it all himself. Go and make sure that you judge him on what he does on that pitch. I know he'll empty his tank. I know he'll give us everything he's got. And if we can start to get that bit of quality clicking, along with the rest of our team, then I think that we've made a real good signing there.
Stuart, we've spoken a lot about replacing Theo Baer's goals, just the way that he replaced Kevin Van Veen's goals. You say it's not about one player coming in, it's about splitting the goals amongst the squad, but with Tony coming back and given what he's done here previously, is he the kind of player that could score double figures this season and make that difference?
Yeah, again, I'm sorry to keep saying the same things over and over again. I keep talking about having a track record. I speak about it a lot of times in coaching and management, where we live in a world where so many people write documents, go onto podcasts and tell us how you can reinvent the game and how you can change the game and how you should be shaping up a team, and I've got opinions on everything that have no track record in doing anything. I'm a huge person, a huge individual for track records, for players, for coaches, for managers. We go and play a game on Sunday, an important game for this football club, and we go and play against a manager with a serious track record. I talk about someone that's had success, that's had numerous games under his belt, that's had a fantastic game there, a fantastic result for his football club on Thursday. Those things mean something to me, not just opinion, not just theory, and I say that in regards to Tony as well. He has the evidence to suggest that he's a good striker and someone that can score double figures in this league for this club.
In terms of the weekend then, what do you make of last night's game?
Yeah, I thought Kilmarnock were excellent. I thought it was a really good performance away from home. Obviously get the goal, real big threat from set plays where ultimately they get that decisive goal, and then from there I thought structurally they were solid. You could see that they were all in terms of their shape and their system. You could see that the commitment to the cause to get them into this next round of the competition was there, and quite clearly they're a team that's flying with confidence. Some people might allude to the weekend past where they lose a game uncharacteristically by 3 goals, but I don't really buy into that too much. Obviously an early sending off has a big impact, but I think whenever you play against Kilmarnock, whenever you play against Derek McInnes' sides, and I've had numerous occasions where I've done that, you don't get anything for free. We know we're going to have to defend our penalty box, we know that we're going to have to be fully committed throughout the pitch, and we know that we're going to have to carry a threat. We feel that we started to do that against Rangers second half, and we're going to try and have to replicate that second half performance more so than the first 45 against Rangers.
So you don't expect them to be jaded after their exertions on Thursday night? Perhaps the opposite,
Nah, I don't. I think naturally players have played an extra game, and there's been a lot of physical exertion, mental exertion within that as well. But I think when you come off the back of a result like that and something that's such a big achievement for their club, then I think that the confidence and the belief in yourself carries you on to the next one. And coupled with the fact that they've got a very good squad as well, I think you see a lot of players sitting on the bench that can contribute to them and freshen them up as well. So I would expect to see a very good Kilmarnock side here on Sunday, and a task that we look forward to.
Just to go back to those personalities and characters you mentioned, 3 or 4 in the dressing room now, when you bring in someone like Tony, do you have to take a hands-on approach with that in terms of management, or do you leave them to figure out themselves? No,
I take a hands-on approach with absolutely everything, be it the most experienced player or the least experienced player. I always have done. It's always for me about trying to find out a little bit more about the individual, what makes them tick. Some players enjoy one-to-one conversations, some players don't mind coming into your office and speaking about the game. Some players love spending loads of time in the analysis room, and some don't like any of it at all. Some of them are quite well equipped to just go and play and perform every single day of their life without too much intervention. So as always from my side with Tony, the same as any other player here, I'll try and find out what makes them tick. I say to every single one of the players when they come through the door that I'll give them everything I've got in terms of my knowledge, my support and my time, most importantly the time. And as I say, some of them don't take up any time within that what is 100% over the course of a week, and there's others that take up substantial amounts. But again, that's part and parcel of football. I think the secret to coaching and management is always to try and find a way to get the best out of players, and through time I'll find out what the best method is for Tony, but not just him, but the several other new players that we have here, as well as the existing players that have always been so important to me.
And in terms of tomorrow's match, are you hoping to get anyone back from injury, anyone can come back in the squad?
No, we're not expecting anybody back for the weekend. We've got Filip Stuparevic is back running, he's back on the grass, he's back on the pitch, and out with that I think I've obviously kind of highlighted, and I think our media guys here have given a pretty substantial update yesterday that we're going to be missing a lot of these guys, and we've given the time frames as best we possibly have at this minute. So it's a concentration in the group that we've got, and we'll look forward to working with them over the piece.
Is Tony cup timed? Because I know he was in sort of squads, didn't he?
No, Tony's okay. I think they changed the rule a couple of seasons ago. You can play for a team in the group stage, and then you can play for another team in the knockout. So he's free to play for us.
With the younger players you spoke about getting them out of loan, has that plan changed a bit just with the amount of injuries now, including Apostolos, which has been added?
Yeah, it has been a challenge. A few things that are pending. We've got several things lined up for players, interested parties, other clubs that want to take some of the young talented players that we've got here. But obviously what I don't want to do is cut off my nose to spite my face. I have to make sure that I've got a balance to my squad, that I can fill a bench. And I've always said for us to have an academy, I'm not going to start running with 3 or 4 players light on my bench. The whole purpose in academy is an opportunity for these guys to move forward and try and play on that pitch here at Fir Park. So there is a time scale to that. I would hope by the end of the window that a number of these guys are out and get an opportunity to play on a weekly basis at their respective loan clubs. But obviously, as you've mentioned, we've not had our troubles to seek, and we want to probably just keep our powder dry a little bit and just make sure that we're okay over this weekend and the days afterwards as well. But we'll continue to work towards that best we possibly can.
I know you spoke about getting creative with your budget with Tony coming in. Is that going to be the last, or is there still scope for more if you needed?
No, I would still like to see if we can make 1 or 2 more additions, if at all possible. And it still is about being creative to try and make sure that we have a balance. We know that we're missing a lot of players for a substantial period of time. I speak about never ripping up your plan, but we've had to deviate slightly by the nature of this. But I have to ensure that I'm covered in all aspects, be it creativity, be it your defensive aspect, energy, pace, all these different types of things that you want to have in your team. So we're trying to work towards that. And as always, Brian and the football club in general have been incredibly supportive. They understand the situation that we find ourselves in just now. So if at all possible, we might look to add another 1, potentially 2 on top of that, if we can do that to the numbers that we work to.
How big would a deep cup run, lengthy cup run be to what you try to achieve here this season and beyond?
Yeah, I've never hid from that. I always speak about the ways that you can improve financially at a football club, and I'll run through them again. It's player sales, which we've been not bad at over the last 12 months. It's about your league position, and it's about cup runs. And as I always say, if anybody knows any other ways that you can start to improve financially at a football club, you can start to talk about 1 or 2 things behind the scenes. But football-wise, plain and simple, that's how you can start to grow as a football club. So the cup competition, this one in particular, because it's the one that's here and now, is vitally important to us. But we've got a massive hurdle to overcome on Sunday. But all our focus this week has purely been on Kilmarnock, has purely been on the game on Sunday, to try and see if we can put a performance up that can advance us into the next round of the cup, because it breeds positivity in everything you do. You can see how Kilmarnock are thriving off of this this opportunity to get into the next round of European competition, but it works the same domestically as well, for your players' confidence and for the buy-in from the supporters and everybody surrounding the football club.